Hey guys, welcome back. Today we will be talking about political parties and the differences between the major political parties in the United States. So, first of all, what is a political party? A political party is a group of people with similar ideas on how government should operate. Um, Everybody's heard about Democrats and Republicans. You may have even heard about libertarians. Um, there's some other political parties that have more extreme views or only focus in on one or two things that you may not have. Those are called third parties, and we're about to go over what each one is. So in the United States, we have what is called a two-party system. Now, there are plenty of other third parties in the United States, but really there's never been a president that was not a Democrat or a Republican or whatever major a member of whatever major political parties were at the time. For example, the first presidents were Federalist, Anti-Federalist, Whigs, whatever it may be. So we have Democrats and Republicans, but then you have third parties like Dixiecrats. Dixiecrats are also called Southern Democrats. They are most known for voting as Democrats in local elections and voting as Republicans in on the national scale. That is kind of a term of the past, as now Republicans are typically Republicans and Democrats are typically Democrats. But for a long time, Southern Democrats were a thing, and that leads back to the end of the Civil War or even the beginning of the Civil War. And you'll learn more about that when you get to U.S. history. Know Nothings are also called nativists. They were from New York most of the time. They favored Native Americans as opposed to immigrant Americans. And don't let that get fooled, like Native Americans as in what you may call Indians. That's people who were born in the United States and were typically white. Free Soil Party is a third party that moved to end slavery. The Bull Moose Party was a party established by Teddy Roosevelt to contest the Republicans. The Whigs was a party spinoff of the Anti-Federalists. The Prohibition Party wanted the end of alcohol, which actually that worked, and the 18th Amendment was passed, and then it didn't work because the 21st Amendment was passed. The Progressive Party, progressive is really just more of an idea to describe Democrats these days. Green Party wants environmental concerns addressed. So, like, they really just care about the environment. They don't really have a ton of other views. Libertarians kind of believe in you have the freedom to do what you want as long as you're not hurting other people and you pay your taxes. So as long as the government has enough money to run and as long as you're not hurting other people, you're good to do kind of whatever you want. Tea Party is kind of like a spinoff of the Republican Party, just more radical. So you've probably never heard of these because they are third parties. And the characteristics of a third party is that they rarely win elections, and in fact, they have never won a presidential election. You have people like Bernie Sanders. Technically, Bernie Sanders is an independent from Vermont. He runs as a Democrat in the presidential election every 4 years, but he's not really a Democrat. He's really an independent. He's what you would call a Democratic Socialist. The role they play is the spoiler. And they often spoil the election for the party that they are most like. So, for instance, in 1992, Ross Perot ran as a third-party candidate and unseated sitting president or incumbent George H.W. Bush, who was George W. Bush's father. Ross Perot was from Texas. He was a businessman. He was more like a Republican, and so he split the vote for George H.W. Bush, which allowed Bill Clinton to become the president. It would be like if you and a friend both ran for homecoming queen and you have to split your friend's vote, and then that allows someone completely different to win, even though they may not have as many friends as you. That would spoil your homecoming election. I will put a star next to that because that will be a question on your test. All right, so these are the 5 functions of political parties, and I would really write that down. Write down 5 functions of political parties, and next to each one of these, write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Political parties organize citizens by belief. They connect levels of government at the local, state, and national level to make sure that each party is doing the same thing throughout all 3 levels. They watchdog the opposing party. So when the other party makes a mistake, your political party is going to call them out on it, and vice versa. It's going to happen. It's a lot of what you see on television and ads when Republicans call out Democrats or Democrats call out Republicans for whatever it may be. They are watchdogging each other. They help to inform citizens of what they are doing, what they would like to do, and what is actually happening within the government. And they also help candidates raise money, which is a huge deal because nowadays national scale campaigns cost millions and millions and millions of dollars. And honestly, as of 2008, when Barack Obama became president, Barack Obama and John McCain were the first two candidates to ever raise $1 billion in campaign fundraising. So now campaigns they are so ridiculously expensive. It is very important for the political party to help the candidate raise money. So here is the history of the U.S. political parties. The first parties surfaced over how to structure the Constitution, and then later parties formed over how to interpret Constitution. Those first parties were the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists, and the modern day parties are Democrats and Republicans. And that is where we are going to stop this video. I will have a more in-depth, detailed video on Democrats and Republicans in the next video.